Hello, everyone. I'm Francisco Guerrero, Director of Training for AdSpiro Marketing. And I just would like to take this video to talk about a little bit of some of my comments that some people think are just a little controversial, which it isn't. So I've been mentioning that really, in my experience, about 90% of CRM companies end up throwing away their first CRM implementation. And I just want to expand a little bit about that, and there's also some notes in the blog as well if you want to check it out. So basically, here's the story. I mean, most people, most companies, when they're about to get a CRM system, usually fall in one of these three buckets. The most common one, bucket number one, is you're starting your new company, you're starting your new startup, you're not familiar with CRM, and basically you just take whatever freebie you get from GoDaddy, you registered your domain, you're looking for a place to put your website. Hey, we have free email for you, come click here, 30 days free, 6 days free. And a lot of people don't know any better, so they just take the freebie regardless of what the freebie is for, what the CRM system is for. They really don't take a second to sit down and figure out their sales cycle, figure out, hey, what do I need to have as a CRM system? Usually it's like a blind pick of, hey, it's free, so it's free, why not, And then some companies end up with all their emails going to spam or something even worse because they don't really know what they're doing. And within a few months, they finally realize they made a mistake, and then it's time to go for try number two. Sometimes we're trying number three. I've been to companies where for some reason they had 3 different messaging systems because they just kept adding, they couldn't migrate out of them, they just kept making things complicated. Now, the other reason that you also end up with a system that doesn't work for you is usually, some of your team members, some of your employees, you only know one CRM system, the one you were using in your previous job. So that's the one you bring in with you. And well, that might be a little better because you're familiar with it. It still might not be the same CRM for your system. And there might be a situation when maybe, hey, you're just copying what your competition is doing. You're just going to grab what somebody referred to you as. So that's a little bit better, but still, you're not taking the time to sit down for a few minutes and figure out, this is my sales cycle. These are the parts that I need to cover in my CRM. Let me go look for something that really works for me as opposed to just grab whatever somebody sells to you or whatever freebie you see, and then you end up having to rip that off the wall and start all over again. And you already wasted, thousands of dollars in marketing, in hours, in setup, and it's just frustration and a pain. So that's what I say 90% of companies will fail on their CRM, mostly because they don't take the time to understand what do they need. They take the first freebie, the first thing somebody sells to them, and then they walk away, and you know what, within a few months you realize this is not working for my business, and you just rip it apart and start over again. I don't know why this is acceptable for companies. I've been hired to many companies where my first job is, hey, we have 3 different systems for CRM because we could not figure it out. Can you help us? Can you bring them all together? Can you consolidate? And I do all of that. So that's what I'm saying, guys. About 90% of the companies just fail. I mean, it's acceptable, and it shouldn't be. So that's a little bit about that. If you want to know about more, you can read in the blog. We'll probably cover some of these in our talks, but that's the sad reality. You don't take the time to learn CRM. It's not complicated. It's very critical that you get right, and you should not be treating your CRM systems as disposable systems, because that's a lot of money wasted. So let me help you with that. That's about it. Just a quick conversation to get started. Leave me in your comments if you agree with me. If you don't agree with me, let me know. Maybe we can talk about this some more. Anyway, I'm Francisco Guerrero, Director of Training for AdSpiro Marketing. Join us in our next video. Join us at the blog where we're covering this very same topic as well. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.